If I'm not a POS and there's something wrong with me, how do I know that there is something good about me? Where do I find the goodness in me? And we're going to talk about today and what you guys experienced last week in the exercise. We have to get out of the egoic consciousness state in order to not feel the ego's consciousness state, which means we have to get into the higher self state. And that's where we see all the goodness in ourselves, in others, and in life. And you can't, and you've probably heard the saying, you can't fix a problem from the same state that created the problem. Well, that's the ego, right? You can't fix the ego's conditioning and the negative thoughts and emotions and belief systems and behaviors from the same state that created them. At the best that you will do, even if positive affirmations, the best that you will do is create for yourself bigger, better floaties in the deep end. Now, bigger, better floaties in the deep end is better than being in the deep end with water up your nose, flailing around, sinking. So if that's where you have to start, that's okay. But that's not where you're going to heal. That's not, for those of you who I know have been doing some personal self-help work for probably years with yourself, and you've probably tried positive affirmations. You've probably tried this or that or the other thing. And you're like, why isn't this working? Well, because you're trying to do it from either the intellectual side or still the egoic side. We have to tap into the higher self in order to heal, number one, which was the trauma that was created through the ego's interpretation. That doesn't mean that we didn't have traumatic circumstances in our life to experience. That may absolutely be true. But how the ego interpreted all of that has taken those traumatic experiences and exponentially increased it into belief systems about who we are. And that is what is causing a lot of continued trauma and continued belief systems that create, again, more sabotage in our life in terms of how we see ourselves and how we interact with other people. So it is important that we be able to identify the higher self and know how to get there.